Hello, everybody. It is that time again. Hello, this is Becky Witherspoon, aka Rebecca Witherspoon, or if you want to call me something else, even Coach Becky. So I think I like that name, Coach Becky. Got a ring to it. Anyway, tonight we are continuing our 7-day series on developing a winning mindset. Hi, Diane. Good to see you pop in. Thanks. Tonight's episode is episode 3, and it's all about what's on your mind and the number one tool to begin to improve your mind. Okay, this is something that the top people in business, personal development, everybody who has any kind of success. Hi, Jeff. Uses this tool, and we will get to that here in just a few minutes. Hi, Carrie. Nice to see you, girlfriend. Oh my God, I love you, sweetheart. Anyway, got a quote for you tonight. It is, whatever you focus on grows, what you think about expands, and what you dwell upon determines your destiny. That was by Robin S. Sharma. Love that quote. It is exactly what all this is about. We are all about developing our minds so that we can actually achieve what we're wanting to achieve in life. So something that some of y'all may or may not know is it is a very simple, well-known, very universal truth that whatever you put your focus on grows. Whatever you neglect withers and dies. Yesterday, we talked about the 10 foundational principles that were kind of going to be the foundation for everything that we're going to be doing this week, that are necessary to understand, to develop a winning mindset. Now, today, we're actually going to talk about one of the very, very real tools. Can you post that quote? Absolutely. Actually, I think it's in my description right now, Diane. The quote is in that description. Feel free to copy and paste it somewhere. So today, we're going to actually talk about a real tool that you can use. Now, we've talked about a lot of foundational stuff, kind of an introduction to the idea of developing our mindset. Hi, Larry. And the tools are what we're really seeking to use. But understanding why we need to use them, that's why all the introductory stuff the past couple of nights. So now yesterday I gave you an action step, and I hope some of you all did this. If you haven't already done it, go back to yesterday's video after tonight's video. See what the action step was. It is a super simple, fun exercise. At least I think you'll enjoy it. It takes about 10 to 15, 20 minutes. And it's involving paper and pen. That's all it is. So, and your mind, obviously. So go back and do that after we're done here, if you have not already done it, because we will be referring to that. I don't know how much we'll be referring to it tonight, but we will be referring to it here in some upcoming episodes. So for now, let's talk about the very practical step that you can begin to implement right now, this very moment, even as we speak almost, to begin the process of developing your mind. I'm going to tell you a secret right now, and I'm using my trusty notes because I go off on tangents sometimes. Now, I want you to promise you're not going to share this with anybody else, okay? Because if this got out, thousands, if not millions of people, they'd be hopping on board. They'd be going, oh my gosh, if that's all I have to do, I am doing this right now. And, the ride might get a little crowded, okay? Actually, I'm kind of teasing on that, but you can say this to anybody you want. I mean, I am on Facebook Live, so anybody who sees this is going to know. So the secret tool that I am talking about, for it to be so incredibly powerful, it must be really hard to do. No, it's not hard at all. It's actually really, really simple. So after all, if it were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? No, in fact, sometimes the most simplest tools are the ones that are most neglected. Okay, so here's the secret. If you're watching this video or reading the transcript of this video on, later, or if you text me and say, hey, Becky, send me the text to this, which I can do that for you, you've already begun to implement the tool that I'm talking about. And the secret tool is simply reading books and listening to uplifting, motivational speakers, business books, anything that develops your mind, that have already walked in the shoes and have found a path to improving their lot in life. That's the secret. Oh my God, how simple is that? Yes. Hey, Debbie, nice to see you. So what? I know, you're right. Sounds way, 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 way too easy. How can a book help you improve your mind? How can a book help you achieve your goals? Well, when you think about people like Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and a whole host of other very successful people, okay, they're very, very successful. You might think that there's no way under the sun that they would have time to read a book, right? I mean, every time we see them, they are incredibly busy, right? Well, here's the thing. If you listen to any of the interviews of any of these people, anywhere, okay, and they are asked what are the top things that they do to ensure that they stay successful and what helped them become successful, every single one of them has one answer that's in common. Now, they all have some different viewpoints here and there, but there's one common answer, and that is they read books every single day. They read something, okay, to improve their mind. They're not reading for pure entertainment. Now, these examples aren't isolated. The examples of these people that I told you. In fact, there was a study of 12,000 wealthy people that found that they all have reading as a pastime in common, and they don't read just anything. They are highly, highly selective about what they read. They opt to be educated over being entertained. They believe that books are a gateway to learning and knowledge. And when you stop and think about it, that's a factual statement. When you read, you do tend to learn something if you're reading something other than just pure entertainment books, okay? In fact, there is a notable difference. I mean, they can gauge, they can measure the difference between the reading habits of the wealthy and the not so wealthy. According to, just got done eating. Tom Corley, who is the author of Rich Habits, The Daily Success Habits of Wealthy Individuals, rich people, who are defined as having an annual income of $160,000 or more and a liquid net worth of 3.2 million plus, okay, they're pretty darn rich, okay, read for self-improvement, education, and success. Whereas poor people, those being defined as having an annual income of $35,000 or less and a liquid net worth of $5,000 or less, read primarily to be entertained. Big difference, okay? So if reading is such a key part of their success, maybe it's an important factor in the process of developing a winning mindset. Take a look at your bookshelf. I want you to do this. I want you, after this video, I want you to go to your bookshelves, wherever they are in your house. Maybe they're scattered around. Maybe you've got books scattered around. Take a look at what you have on your shelves. Are they predominantly for entertainment purposes, or do you have a good selection of self-improvement books that are aimed at improving your mind, improving how you think, your activities, maybe some business books that would help you improve, if you have a business, improve your business practices. And here's another question to ask yourself. Of those books, how many have you actually read? Okay. I'm sure you've read most of your books for entertainment, but have you actually sat down and read these books on improving your mind? Okay. Big questions to ask yourself. So, you don't have to eliminate your books on entertainment. I am not saying that, okay? But if you find that you don't really have books on improvement, self-improvement stuff, and I'm going to show you some examples, okay, and some suggestions, then what I would suggest is beginning to insert some books focused on self-improvement. Improve your mind. These will help you begin to improve your mindset. And isn't this what this is all about? We're here to improve our mind, get our focus so that we can actually begin to succeed in what we're wanting to do in life. And reading is going to help you. So if you don't already have a habit of reading, then I would encourage you to start out small. Don't try to go a whole freaking book in one sitting, okay? You're going to not be able to do it. You're going to get frustrated with yourself because it's going to take time. It's a habit that you're going to have to develop. And if you remember one of my videos recently, I talked about forming a habit. Sometimes it can take a while to develop a new habit. So what I suggest, if you're not already in the habit of reading every day or most days, begin with about 15 to 30 minutes a day of reading. And that can be maybe a chapter or 2 chapters or whatever, however much you can read within that 15 to 30 minutes. And then put the book down. And then do it again the next day, the next part of the book. Okay. Do that until you, here's what's going to happen. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen. Within a relatively short period of time, this new behavior will become something that you actually will look forward to. It will become something that you don't have to actively think to do. You don't have to try to remember to do because it will become automatic. It'll just be something that you automatically reach for the book, okay? Now, I have different times of the day that I read. I read first thing in the morning. I read right before I go to bed, for a little while before I go to bed. I read when I get chances in the daytime. But those 2 times, the beginning of the day and the end of the day, are the times that are the most consistent for me. I would encourage you to try maybe the beginning of the day or in the evening, one of those 2 times, depending on what your schedule is usually like during the day, because you need to find a time that works for you. Now, let's say you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, okay? Maybe your kids, you lay them down for a nap, but you're up doing stuff, and maybe you've got some time, and that's the best time of the day for you. Find a time of the day that works for you consistently, okay? And begin to develop this habit. Okay, now, we understand now the importance of daily reading to improve the focus of our minds, to expand our understanding, our knowledge base, okay? Remember the other day we were talking about knowledge, okay? This is one of the ways that you develop your knowledge base. We also know now how to begin to implement this new behavior into our lives, okay? What now? So now, the question is, what books should you be reading? I think I put in let me see if I put it in here. Yes, I did. In my description, I put a list of 20 books that I highly recommend. I think I have read every one of them. There's a couple of them that I'm actually in the process of reading, but I'm going to kind of show you some of these books. One of the books that I absolutely highly, did I say highly recommend is Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. Now, this is a little bit of an older book, But I'm telling you, oh my gosh, this is probably the first book. If I was going to suggest a first book to read, I would probably suggest that book. He has exercises in there that specifically are about developing your mind. So I would highly recommend that one. Another book, and this was actually a book that I read many years ago, and at a time in my life well before I started trying to develop my mind. And it was during a time period where I was really struggling with a lot of personal things, a lot of family issues, and my mind was just, it was a basket case. We'll just put it that way. This book really helped me. Now, this is a Christian-based book. It's not necessarily going to be for everybody, but if you're open to at least reading it, I do highly recommend it. It's called Battlefield of the Mind. And what it does is it actually helps somebody gain control of their mind, gain control of their thinking. Because my mind used to race with everything. If it fell in my mind, I was dwelling on it. Okay, it didn't matter what it was, I was dwelling on it. So that is a great book. Another highly recommended book that I recommend is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's by Stephen Covey, Covey. Okay, it's going to talk about some of the things that we've already talked about, but it's going to go into great depth about the stuff. Another book that is really, really good. My husband and I did this one together, and it's just a phenomenal book. It's a book by Jack Canfield, and it's called The Success Principles: How to Get from Where You Are Right Now to Where You Want to Be. Okay, what are we talking about? Okay, so again, it's going to help you some with your mind also, so keep that in mind. Now, here is a classic. It's by Dale Carnegie. And let me see if you can see it. Okay. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That is a highly recommended book, too. Again, kind of like the Think and Grow Rich book. It's a little bit archaic in some of the writing of it. And if you can get past that part of it, you'll love it. Sorry, I just dropped half my books here. Let me pick that one up. And this one up. Okay, the next book I would recommend. And this one I did with a really great friend. I don't get to see her very often anymore. Our lives kind of took, she's off here, I'm off here, and it's hard to get together. But I love her to death. Her name's Nancy. And Nancy, if you happen to see this, love you, girl. It's called One Word That Will Change Your Life. And I actually used this book last year for me specifically when I was in the process of overcoming my irrational and lifelong fear of heights. And I talked about this, I think, at least briefly. I think I mentioned it briefly in one of my previous videos. But last year, I did something I thought I would never, ever, 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 ever do. And that was I ziplined. But it wasn't just any old ziplining, okay? I ziplined at the Grand Canyon, and I videotaped it. It was awesome, man. And guess what? I don't have that irrational fear of heights like I used to do. And I discovered that I just love it. It's phenomenal. Now, another book, actually it's 2 books, but they're kind of the 2 books that are kind of the same, but they're to different audiences. This one is another classic. It's by Robert Kiyosaki. There's how you spell his name if you need to look it up. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And its companion book, Rich Kid, Smart Kid, Giving Your Child a Financial Head Start, again by Robert Kiyosaki. This book, it will, one, help you with your mind, but it will also help you begin to gain control of your finances. If you have had any kind of issues with your finances, that book will help you tremendously. So will Dave Ramsey. That's a really good foundational book for beginning the process of getting your finances in order. Now that Dave Ramsey's is, and that's Financial Peace University. It's a great foundation, but it's not the end. It's the beginning. Okay, if you ever want to learn what to do after Dave Ramsey, give me a holler. I will put you in touch with a phenomenal resource that will just blow your mind away. Now, the next thing I would highly recommend, again, this is by Jack Canfield, but it's also by a couple of other people. It's called The Power of Focus. And this book is another book that my husband and I have done that is, again, all about helping you learn to focus your mind, okay? And then one of the other books, now there's one book that I've got in the list. It's called The Miracle Morning. But there's also by Hal Elrod. There's also another book by him. It's called The Miracle Equation. I would say start with The Miracle Morning. This is going to help you. What that book is all about is developing a winning routine in the morning, okay, to get your day started right so that your mind is in the right place for the rest of your day. The Miracle Equation goes further, okay. Now, any of the books in the list, some of those other books I've got in a Kindle format. It's kind of hard to show you on here. So look at those, look at that list, because here is what I want you to do next. I'm going to give you another action step. I gave you an exercise yesterday. I hope you will go back and do it if you have not already done it. But here is your action step for tonight. I want you to choose just one of those books, or actually there's a poem on there. It's called The Dash Poem. You can look that up online by Linda Ellis. And I am not going to give it away because I want you to actually read it. In fact, if you don't have time to go and find a book, one of these books, then at least go online and find The Dash Poem, because it will blow your mind away. It will change your perspective on a lot of things. When I heard that poem, I couldn't believe the change in my thinking from that point on. So what I want you to do, but if you do have time, I would like you, on top of the poem, to pick one of the books. You can either find it at your local library, you can find it on Amazon, you can find it in Kindle format, you can find it at your local bookstores, a lot of local bookstores. Those are kind of hard to find anymore. I'm kind of sad. I love bookstores. But you can also find audios of a lot of these books. If you have an Audible account, Audible is fantastic. I love it. But find one of these books and begin to read it. When you've made your choice, I would love for you to just drop the name of the book that you've chosen. And if you find another book besides the ones in the list above that's in my description, let me know that book too. I would love if you have a book that you have read that you have found to be truly helpful that's not in my list. I would love to know what that book is. But that's my action step for you for tonight, and that's actually the end of my video for tonight, because I'm trying my hardest to get them a little bit shorter here. So again, I want to thank you all so much for being a part of my journey and letting me be a part of, even a little bit a part of your journey. And if you have any topics that you want me to talk about in the future, please let me know. And if you would like a transcript of tonight with everything we talked about, let me know, and I will send that your way. So in the meantime, y'all have a wonderful evening, rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow. We're going to have another exciting topic tomorrow. I'm not going to give it away, but we're going to have a good topic tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow night. Y'all have a fantastic evening. Ta-ta.